10 signs you lack iron and you still don't know it and how to treat it. The permanent lack of iron can produce anemia, causing weakness and fatigue. Anemia affects about 24% of the population worldwide. Iron deficiency is the most common cause of it. To better understand how iron deficiency can affect your health, continue watching this video. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay up to date with our updates. Number 1. Pale skin. Red blood cells are responsible for providing a pinkish color to the skin. This is because, being present in the blood, the red blood cells circulating throughout the bloodstream make the skin maintain a healthy color, since it is the color that the blood cells take circulating through the veins and arteries and flooding the tissues. Reducing the production of red blood cells due to iron deficiency makes the blood less red, so tissues such as the skin will become lighter. This is one of the most characteristic signs of iron deficiency. Skin tone is paler or yellowish or both. The inside of the lips, eyelids and even the gums may also become more light. Number 2 is fatigue. Fatigue is usually a symptom manifested by those who have iron deficiency. Fatigue occurs due to the low production of hemoglobin, which is the main protein that red blood cells have in the body, which must carry oxygen to the different organs and tissues. In the absence of oxygen, organisms begin to down their work because they do not have enough energy. This energy gap makes you feel exhausted with unusual tiredness and even sleepy as your body seeks to enter a state of rest where it consumes less energy to guarantee survival. On the other hand, in the absence of proper oxygenation, the heart increases its pulse in an attempt to pump more oxygen to the organs, but without the necessary force that injects iron. Logically, fatigue will increase. This lack of oxygenation also causes variation in mood, so fatigue is added to a bad mood, irritability, and difficulty in maintaining concentration. Number 3 is lack of breath. When there is a shortage of iron in the blood, people usually have shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or dyspnea. This is because with less circulation of red blood cells in the blood, the organs receive less oxygenation, and any activity you do can demand a greater demand for oxygen, which forces the lungs to work harder, increasing the respiratory response in an attempt to provide the necessary. Hence, at times, you may feel short of breath, you cannot breathe enough, and you may experience dizziness. It translates into faster breathing that tries to compensate for the oxygen demand of the tissues, blood circulation, and oxygenation in the pulmonary alveoli. This shortness of breath can also lead to weakness and fatigue. Number 4, headache. Another consequence of a deficiency of iron is headaches. Without a good supply of iron, red blood cells with little hemoglobin do not manage to send enough oxygen to the brain. Headache is one of the most frequent symptoms of anemia, or decreased hemoglobin in the blood. Dizziness is also a sign that accompanies this type of headache, since cerebral oxygenation is key to maintaining proper functioning of the rest of the organic functions such as the location in the vestibular system. Number 5, dry and opaque skin and hair. Oxygen is life. The cells that make the body require oxygen to stay alive. Without constant oxygenation, they begin to degrade and die. The skin, being the largest organ in the body, also ends up being the one that will suffer the most from the lack of good oxygenation. Skin cells suffer from a reduction in hemoglobin of red blood cells caused by a lack of iron, since the organism chooses to send the little oxygen it finds to the most important organs. Thus the skin becomes dry with an aged and dull appearance. The same happens with hair, which becomes more dull and dry, weakens and falls off. Number 6, heart palpitations. The increase in heart rate in notable way is one of the signs that iron is scarce in your body. These sudden palpitations and strong irregular heartbeats or very fast heartbeats are the product of hard work by the heart in an attempt to bring oxygen to the organs, since they cannot receive it due to the low production of hemoglobin. This is a worrisome condition that can worsen if it is maintained for a long time, causing enlarged heart murmur or heart failure. If you have an irregular situation with your heartbeat, run to evaluate yourself with your cardiologist, because it is a situation that can severely affect your health just by having low levels of iron. Number 7 is inflammation in the oral cavity. A deficiency in iron also causes the tongue to lose part of its faculties. Low hemoglobin levels can produce a type of inflammation at the level of the tongue. It is a typical symptom that reveals a long-term process of iron deficiency or even other elements such as vitamin B12, riboflavin, pyridoxine, and niacin. When there is an iron deficiency, the tongue can become lighter, become inflamed, and smooth. It is also more sensitive to changes in temperature and can lose the ability to perceive the intensity of certain flavors. Something similar occurs with the oral cavity that may present cracks in the corner of the mouth, pain, and dryness. If you have noticed that your tongue changes its characteristics or that you have some oral discomfort, you may be going through an iron deficiency that you should attend to. Number 8. Restless legs. Leg restlessness is a condition in which the legs often jump by themselves when the person is standing or sleeping, but also presence during the day is an urgent need to move. The legs accompanied by cramps and tingling. Iron deficiency is usually the first sign that doctors seek to identify when they encounter this syndrome. The action of iron is associated with this syndrome since dopamine is related to the regulation of movement, and when there is iron deficiency there is an alteration in dopamine levels since this hormone requires iron to work correctly. If you have these involuntary movements at night or have this uncontrollable urge to move your legs when you are at rest, it is very likely that you have an iron deficiency. Number 9. Some brittle nails. Have you noticed that doctors sometimes examine your nails when they evaluate you? They are not looking at your manicure, they are observing its shape and color. Because the deficiency of iron can also manifest in the nails. The lack of iron makes the nails break easily. They also tend to change shape, presenting with raised edges. The iron deficiency that manifests in your nails is an indication that you already have advanced levels of anemia, so the best thing you can do for your health is to hurry to the doctor. Number 10. Changes in mood. The lack of oxygen can cause a feeling of anxiety, sudden anguish as an imminent attack, lack of concentration and attention, as well as our ability to acquire new knowledge. And memory also can be affected by an iron deficiency. This is the result of the little oxygen that reaches your brain, which is why it is better that you breathe calmly and seek medical attention. On the other hand, iron deficiency causes the few red blood cells present to be sent to oxygenate the important organs, putting the hands aside since they are the most distant points of the body from the heart, and work is more difficult for them when hemoglobin production drops, which is why the feet get cold and the hands begin to feel cold and tingling. This situation can become dangerous because if it is prolonged, you could have severe damage to your extremities. The human body is an intelligent machine, so much so that it knows where it can locate iron when it does not receive it. For this reason, strange cravings can also appear to eat things that you have never imagined, from dark chocolate that you surely want to ice or clay. The strange thing about this is that none of these elements contains iron, so the body would not be achieving the substitution of it. We hope that this video was helpful. If you have anything to add, please share it with us in the comments. Subtitle. Like this video and send the link to your family and your best friends, so they subtitle. Also know about how to find out if you have iron deficiency. If you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe.